guys, and welcome to Carol's Universe Tarot Readings from the Heart. And today's reading is for the month of March 2015, and this is for the zodiac sign of Aries. So Aries, before I start, I'd just like to let you know that my website is now fully up and running. So if you'd like a personal reading with me, my personal readings are done in the format of pre-recorded audio, pre-recorded video, and also email readings. Okay. So the link is below. So if you want a reading, you can find me there. Okay, let's proceed. So for March Aries, the theme that is running kind of prominently for me is kind of, it's almost like being liberated from something for some of you guys, like winning out from a situation potentially that was unfair. This is what I'm feeling, because we have, first of all, the Five of Swords and the Nine of Pentacles. Now, the Five of Swords is, in its traditional meaning, a card about someone who wins out or wins some form of a battle or some form of a fight, but it's kind of like an unfair fight because he has like three swords in his hands, and there's two very sorry characters walking away from this fight, and they've put down their swords. Now, it's very difficult to interpret this card a lot of the time because we don't really know what this fight is over. We don't know what anything's over, really, of the tarot, but, you know, it's all symbolism, isn't it? And you would assume that it's unfair, and I think it's assumed that it's unfair only because he's got three swords and these people have got two, but where did the other two come from, you know? Where are the other people? Maybe they've scarpered, you know? We can't really say. So, to my mind, this card is about winning something, okay? Winning the day with something. Traditionally, the card says that it's been an unfair fight, but hell, who knows? Only because he's got three swords. We don't know where anybody else is, you know? They could have walked into the sea for all we know, you know? But this is someone who's kind of had to overcome obstacles to me. And someone who, in a way, when I look at this card, it's almost someone who realises that they've got more than they thought that they had, if you see where I'm coming from, because he does have the three swords. You know, and it's not an unfair disadvantage if these two people had two swords and he had one sword in the beginning, you know. He won the fight, so he took what they had, and that's fair enough, isn't it? You know, because they've put their swords down anyway. So to me, it's almost like someone who has more through an obstacle, through some sort of disadvantage. Because remember, there's two people against one here, so that was a disadvantage to begin with. So it's almost like through an obstacle, through something. It's almost like the Five of Cups in a way, but like turned on its head, if you see where I'm coming from. It's almost like someone who's, even though this person hasn't lost and they've won, but it's almost like someone who's had to fight through an obstacle. And through fighting through that obstacle and keeping the faith, they've almost been able to put their fears to bed, and they've also almost come away with more than they thought that they would. So they, in the end, the fight was almost kind of worth it, you know, because they came away with more than they thought that they would initially get. This is what this card says to me intuitively in my heart. We have the Nine of Pentacles here, and this is almost like kind of like a what's the word? It's almost like a flow of the story here in a way for me, because coming off with something more than you thought that you had, we then sort of flow into the Nine of Pentacles, which is someone who, through effort and kind of diligent and working hard and kind of through self-reliance, because this person can only rely on him. He's only relied on himself, you know, for this. So it's someone who, through their own kind of self-reliance, has suddenly kind of accumulated this wealth. And I believe that he's accumulated wealth with these three swords. You know, he's accumulated more than he thought he would. And this person in Nine of Pentacles does that as well. She's able to kind of live a very sort of affluent, lovely life, you know. She's living in comfort now because she's worked hard for it. And I feel that this person has worked hard for these swords that he's got here. He'll no doubt probably pick these swords up later because these two people are walking away from their stuff. So he's ending up with more than he thought he would. So I feel for some of you guys in some of you Aries people in March, it's going to be a case of kind of whatever obstacles you're going through now, they're there for a reason. You know, they're there to kind of teach you something. This is what I'm feeling. And I feel that for a lot of you guys, it'll be kind of that in the end you actually walk away from a situation. Well, I don't say walk away from a situation, but you actually end up within a situation with more than you actually started off, if that makes any sense. So potentially for some of you guys, you could be in a situation that's not looking so good, but when you come out the other end in March, it'll be a case of that the situation comes to a conclusion and you actually get more than you bargained for, but in a good way. It's almost like this person has been kind of fighting their corner on something, fighting for their rights or fighting for their independence over something. The Swords is all about logic, our thinking, communication. So for me, this situation is potentially about communicating our ideas and the things that we want to say through having to kind of shut something down, if you see where I'm coming from. And this is really, to me, these two cards signify someone who's asserting themselves and someone who's kind of getting back what they've put into something, you know. So getting more joy or more material stuff or just more sort of peace of mind. But I feel that you're getting more back than you imagine that you would get within March. We do have here also, though, we've got the Devil card and the Ace of Wands. Most people, I think, by now should know what the Devil card is, really. It signifies being... this Devil person here is kind of like the Puppet Master, but the Puppet Master kind of represents our material world. So being controlled by the seduction, the allurement of things that you know aren't that good for you, or things that you know aren't that pure, but because they're kind of really seductive and they're really enticing, you kind of stay chained to it. So it could be anything: sex, drugs, rock and roll, drink, you know, drink, whatever. You know, how maybe you're addicted to sex or something. We do have the Ace of Wands here. You know, it's a very sort of sexual looking wand, isn't it, to be perfectly honest with you. But then this is also about inspiration and our ideas and creativity and the seeds of a new venture. So when I look at these two cards together, what is it that you're looking to free yourself from, and what is it that you're looking to kind of, what is it that you're being inspired to do through that freedom, you know? This is what I'm thinking. It's one of the two for me, that either there is kind of a relationship that maybe you're addicted to sexually, potentially, or the seeds of something that's happening in March sexually that potentially isn't that great, or it's freeing yourself from something, which would really tie in to me with the Five of Swords and the Nine of Pentacles, you know. But either way, I really feel that these cards are saying to me freedom for a lot of you guys. Freedom from something that was potentially holding you. This is what I'm feeling with these cards. I'm just going to take another look at them because I find them fascinating. It's almost like this Ace of Wands card is saying, but you can free yourself from this. You know, it just shoots up so brightly, so sparkly, you know. It's almost like, as well, if you look at the thumb here, it's given a big thumbs up to something, you know. It's saying, yes, this is right. This is right, how you're feeling, what you're thinking, and where you're going, you know. You can free yourself from whatever this situation is that has kept you chained. We see this in the Five of Swords and we see it in the Nine of Pentacles. Independence through overcoming obstacle. we do have the Seven of Pentacles and the Page of Cups. The Seven of Pentacles really is a card about growth. It's about building something to a certain point. But, you know, in the one hand, whatever it is that you're building is really coming to fruition now. And in another, it's about waiting for things to grow even further and seeing where you can go. We've got the Page of Cups here as well. A classic card about news, good news coming in potentially for some of you guys regarding finance, I think, with the Seven of Pentacles. Maybe this is saying that, you know, whatever investments, if there's been some investments made, if you've been trying to bring something to fruition, or you're waiting for some kind of payout on something, maybe this card is saying that it's going to be a surprise to you, because we have the fish popping out of the cup here. And this is saying that this is a surprise to this guy. So maybe it will be a surprise, whatever this financial good luck is for some of you guys within the month of March. And again, it could be that you're building something, or you've built something, and you're trying to grow something even more. And this card is really kind of giving its blessing to it, the Page of Cups, whatever this endeavour is. But these are both very good cards, I feel. The Page of Cups is also a card about the beginning of a love affair, potentially. But I've done readings on myself, and I've had stuff that's been bang on, and I've had Page of Cups, but it's not been about love. It's been about something that I was in love with, like an idea or like a creation, and how I've really got that going. So maybe between these two cards, it's building something that you're in love with, finally. Maybe you couldn't do that before when you had obstacles with the Five of Swords and with the Devil card. But now this Nine of Pentacles card we have here is really getting rewarded for stuff, and the Ace of Wands, really in its traditional meaning, leaving out the kind of sexual element to it, in its traditional meaning, it's all about a light bulb going on. It's all about the light bulb of an idea, of feeling inspirational about something, and really starting the seeds of something. So maybe the seeds of something in March are being built up with you with these cards. Feeling emotional satisfaction with something, the beginning of a love affair with something that you're trying to build up on your own now. Overcoming obstacles to building something up. I feel with the last two cards, though, it's kind of like almost like a warning card in a way, Aries. I feel that because we have the Two of Swords and the Star card, that for some of you guys in March, you're going to be there's going to be some lack of clarity, or a lack of kind of a lack of self-belief with something, because I not only think of the Two of Swords as being a card about kind of not about not making a choice on something. You get all those classic things, don't you? You can't make a choice on something. There's a lack of clarity. Your hands are tied on something. Dead stalemate, deadlock, blah, blah, blah. But I also see the Two of Swords as being a card about kind of disbelief. Kind of feeling like you can't put those defences down. Or feeling that you're kind of afraid to take the blindfold off, because you're afraid to see the truth of who you are, you know? So you choose to kind of keep that inward, you know? And I feel that the Star card is really saying, you know what? Your optimism and your faith is going to pay off with whatever this is. But you can't kind of, it's almost like she's optimistic, but her optimism is kept behind her eyes, you know? It's almost like she doesn't want to move with something here. And to me, these two cards are saying you got to move with it, you know? There's no point in kind of feeling optimistic or feeling inwardly like, okay, it's going to be fine, this is going to work out, that's going to work out, but not kind of taking the action to do that. The Star card is all about having faith. But there's no good in sitting there and having faith, or thinking stuff, if you're not willing to kind of act on it. It works in tandem. Our conscious and our subconscious work together. Our conscious lets us know exactly what it is that we're capable of. sorry, our subconscious lets us know exactly what it is that we're capable of, as well as our conscious, but our conscious is the thing that helps us to drive whatever it is forward, because we can consciously take action on things. So I feel that these two cards are saying, you know, take the blindfold off and see exactly what it is that you do have. See exactly what it is that the universe is backing you with, and use it. Don't be afraid to use it. Blend stuff together, like this woman is blending water from the jugs back into the pool, back into the river, you know. And know that whatever it is, whatever your intuition is telling you is right. But don't block out your intuition like this woman is doing here. She's blocking out what the natural thing is that the universe gave her. She's blocking out what she knows. She doesn't really want to see it through her own fear. But the star card is asking you to see it. It's asking you to take a look. And it's asking you to act on it. So whatever the situation is, Aries, I do feel that the main thing for you guys in March is darkness and light. It's overcoming obstacles in order to maintain an air of independence about something. It's breaking chains. It's using your inspiration, using your intuition, and it's really kind of making a go of something. It's walking away from any deadlock, any obstacles that don't no longer serve you, and breaking those chains. But in order to break those chains, and in order to have stuff really kind of start moving, and to really kind of be in that flow of goodness during March, you need to take the blindfold off. Don't be afraid, because the universe has got your back. But you need to work with the universe. You work 50%, universe works 50%. You've got a goal there. Don't be afraid to actually put your ideas out there and help them to manifest, whatever those are. If this reading is resonating with any of you guys, let me know. But this is what the cards are saying to me. There are shades of darkness and there are shades of light. There are shades of contemplation and there are shades of knowing exactly what to do. And you've really just got to think about, for the month of March, which area you kind of err on. Okay, guys, that's your reading for the month of March 2015. I'd like to say thank you very, very much for joining me. And I see you. I can't get my words out today. And I will see you soon for your Law of Attraction reading, which I'm working on at the moment. See you then, guys. Take care.